you from knees up.
Knees up. Boy, I've gotten tall. Let me check this. Okay. Yeah. Must have gotten taller. How was that 3 minutes? All right. So let's warm up. Knees. Oh, I was so happy. I went and saw the doc the other day, and they were checking out my knee, and they were pretty impressed. They're like, you're like a symbol of what somebody can do, because we thought for sure you're going to be in surgery. Well, I said, well, I'm glad to hear that. Just, no pharmacy, no cutting, right? And the consistency beyond everything else. Of course, then I had a couple of patients who I said, well, I'd highly recommend that knee surgery. I'm like, well, if it's time, I'll jump there, but not before. Good. Let's go the other way. The Pinehurst group has been walking the Bagua, just the Sin Tien WuJi hands, trying to get used to those. In fact, I thought I had it on my mind to do a little of those this evening. All right, let's grind the rice. And that's been working out good. All they talk about is, oh, my shoulders. No. They're just walking the circle, like 3 laps. That's about it. It's amazing how heavy your arms can start to feel. One more round. Woo! Good. Other side. I rock and roll. Hi-ho, it's off to work we go. I don't know if y'all can see him or not. Kim Tran's here tonight, hiding over here on the side. Well, I don't have the super wide lens on this evening. You can slide back over here somewhere so somebody can see you. Good. All right. Let's just feet together, toes together, and let's slide down a little bit, get a little hamstring. Oh, yeah. Good. All right. Now, one on the heart, one on the abdomen. 9 breaths. Filling the teacup. Right. Now we'll breathe in, let the hands float up. Exhale, let the hands come back down. Just nice and easy. Synchronize yourself. Five more. Take your time. Let's do one more. Good. All right. We're going to stack one hand on top of the other. As you breathe in, let the low hand swim out. And then as you exhale, let it come down the center line. And it becomes on top. Then you do the other one. Breathe in and out. Two more to each side. Breathe in. And center yourself. Great. Two more. Good. Just pull it to the sides. Okay. So before we get started, or well, we're already started, but before we get into some other things, one of the first things I wanted to work with you this evening on was giving you something to imagine when you're practicing. Okay. And in fact, before we do that, I was watching a lot of times I used to enjoy watching JAG or Top Gun, a lot of naval stuff. That I don't know why, but it resonated with me, and it actually was translatable to me for my Kung Fu. Some of the students have heard, things like, the three problems and the radar and things like that. But one of the things that the F-14 pilots used to do is that, they would learn a mission plan. Now, of course, they couldn't fly the mission plan because they'd be in enemy territory, but they would learn a map, and then they would learn coordinates and possibilities. First, they just learned the mission as if it went perfect, right? And then they would build contingencies in there. Then they would maybe run through a simulator or imagine. But most of them, by the time they ever got to the mission, they had memorized and knew where they were supposed to be on certain timelines as they would go through it. Well, a lot of times your martial arts practice requires the same sort of effort. That you have to imagine yourself, because if you just you can't just run down to the mall and find somebody to throw a punch at you so you could practice, right? Now, so a lot of times it's your ability to see something and then ingrain it in your memory so that you can learn it. So the one that tends to get a little bit, I would say, illusionary is the, mirror hand, and then washing into the single whip. Okay, now this is the technique that comes in the 48. I'm gonna do that again. All right, I'm stepping out, mirror hand with the left side. You can do it with me. Yeah. And then you sit back and you wash the back of your head with the back of your hand. You turn, and then it comes out into a single whip to here. Okay. Now that little sequence in the form, we were talking about fighting forms earlier. Now, and if you practice something long enough, that can become your mission plan to figure out how can I use that? And that's what I want to be able to find myself getting into. So in this particular case, if you look at that technique in mirror hand, the first part of the mirror hand is to intercept the hand and then walk through. Now, by the time, as you can see, Ryan here, just stay right there, Ryan. Okay, my hands are here. I try to usually tell you all, by the time your hand gets to the technique, you've either finished what you were trying to do or you missed. Okay, so by the time my hand actually gets up to mirror hand, look at where he is. Okay, so let's start from the beginning again. I'm going to intercept, and as I do, I step across him into the mirror hand, and now it's coming back. Now he's coming back because I'm changing my hands. Now I'm going to wash the back of my head, and I can either yank him right to the ground and throw him, or I can hit him, okay? Comes through, here, wash the back of my hand. Now, at this point right here, I can take it and just yank it right down to put his face into the dirt, okay? If he tends to slide out and rolls through, single whip comes right out. And he just basically eats it, okay? One last time. I'm just doing the form I just showed you. Through and across, okay? Gives you a little mental texture of something that we can practice individually, but if you're at home, you can imagine through, wash the back of your head, turn, and then out to your single whip, okay? I know there's probably a lot of questions on that. That was kind of what Sifu Chen used to call planting a seed. So the next time we're in Carthage, at the Kwoon there, or practice over here on Saturday, we'll work that technique. How'd that feel to you? That's the first time I did that to you, isn't it?
In slow motion, nicely.
I deny that. All right. So now let's go through the first 3 pressings in the Bagua. Okay, we did this on Saturday, didn't we? Yeah, good. All right. So from here, remember that the first pressing is down and in, but it starts by you reaching up and out and getting to here and to here. Okay, come here, Ryan. So it feels here. If you had someone to practice with, you would just stay connected to them and roll it back and forth. And I'm the only one doing it, and Ryan's just following along, allowing me to have some texture so I can learn. But you can see the hands come out and here. If I'm using this, it just looks like that. Okay? I mean, it's just a very quick pop, and then you're walking. Okay? Thank you. So now let's try this. That's the technique. If you need something to imagine that you're in a pool of water up to your shoulders, and that you can feel the resistance of the water in all directions at all the time. Okay? Sifu would like to give you the mental imageries like being in a big, like a pool of water, right? Or later, if you needed a little bit more, imagine you're in a great big bucket of BBs, and that you got to push through the BBs and pull through the BBs. Okay, that will help you provide a mental texture, so the muscles feel like, and the tendons and joints feel like they're participating more actively instead of just being willy-nilly in the air. Okay, now let's add a little bit of body motion to it, so that as you turn to one direction, you finish, and as you step and turn, finish. Just a little bit of stepping and turning. Slowing it down. The synchronizing exercises we did earlier are a way for you to kind of learn how to put your body together a little bit. One more time. Okay. Now, all of you all, yes, who are either online or here have walked Bagua a time or two before. So you can practice that just walking the circle, and you don't have to stay static. You can walk the circle and transition as you go. We did that on Saturday as well, didn't we, Kathy? Okay. All right. Good. So, this is a little bit more not dynamic. It's not as much posting, but it can be a nice mental tether. Someone like Ryan, for example, over the years basic Bagua has been a staple for him to, I want to say, de-escalate or decompress and things like that. It was also mine a lot of times too. All right. So, but being able to work it and use it. All right. The next technique was in the three pressings is they call the sky posture, is the up and out pressing, and then the hands roll. And again, if you're thinking about moving through water or BBs, the hands drive up, then spread out. Okay. Up and out. Okay. Come here, Ryan. So if you're watching it and here, it's this action. And if I'm going to repeat it, it would look like so. I'm just getting used to thrusting up and out. Just like that. Okay? Thank you. Mm-hmm. Do two more. Just steal. Good. Now let's add a little body rotation to it. I'm going to turn to this side and open. I'm going to bring it together and open. When you finish here, try to make sure that your weight is back. You'll extend your foot, but your weight stays back. Do two more. Good. And shake it out. All right, so before we go into the third one, any questions so far?
You were putting your feet down flat Bagua stuff, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. But as long as it's an empty step, you could do it with a toe up. You could do it with a toe down, but I was doing a flat roll the marble kind of step from last week's mental meal, right? So I had a little bit of this action going on. And I wasn't even thinking about it. So that was a good observation. Anything online, question-wise?
Very good.
So far, so good. Okay. And so one of the things, too, that you want to, it's actually very brilliant, is that, Bagua being somewhat, again, a opaque art. When you see people practicing it, it looks more artistic than it does combative. And when you get entangled with it, though, it's a whole nother ball game, right? Because now, because Bagua is designed in its theory, like Shingi is a cannonball that you just hum at somebody and take them through, put a hole in them. Tai Chi is a little bit of that bouncing rubber ball where it goes in, bounces back, taking their balance, wobbling them. And Bagua Zhang was described as the chicken wire ball, right? So that spinning chicken wire just starts moving, and then whatever they put their hand in, that's what gets cut and bit, right? And the reason that you see these pressings here, then later on you will see a technique, and let's say you see the Bagua and you'll see something like so, for example, just moving through into a hand lift, and maybe it turns this way or this way. But what are you doing? That's half a lake and half a sky. All right. And so you get these so ingrained that you don't have to worry about it anymore, because now you just move and there you go. You just turn and let it rock. The third pressing is one of my favorites, actually. Not to walk, but to do, right? Because it is painful, is the wind. And it starts by wrapping up and spreading out. Wrapping up and spreading out. Okay? Good. Just about the level of the heart when it wraps, about the level of the hips, or just above the hips when they're out. So it has a slight downward pressing down and out. Okay? Like so. Okay? All right, so Ryan, pop on over. All right, you practice-wise, it looks like so and like so. Okay, I'm doing it from a disconnect. So I'm walking in, I'm trying to close them together. And in this case, I'm just using his arms, okay? I'm spreading out. So the exercise is here and here. If I'm using it, it would look more like boom, boom, into here, okay? Is a way of kind of driving it through. 1, 2, getting the texture. Like if you were in the pool, you could feel it come together, spreading out. Together, spreading out. Okay? Just like that. You're going to have to imagine it for a little bit, okay? But the idea is just rolling it together, spreading it out. And now let's do a couple of turns with it. Roll and out. Just try to remember to pick your feet up just a little bit, not much, just enough, so you feel like they're moving some. Do 2 more. Good. All right. So all of you that walk Bagua, you can walk it static. You can do posting here. In fact, let's do that. Let's finish up with a little Bagua posting. All right. You kind of enjoyed that on Saturday, didn't you? Yeah. Good. Good. All right. So let's just first take into the lake, breathe, exhale, bring it down. We're going to take 9 breaths. Have that little bit of texture in your mind if you can, so it's not just a flaccid, empty posture. One more breath. This time as you exhale, let the hands float up and out into the sky. As you exhale this time, draw the hands in, wrap them up. Breathe in. Exhale, press it out. Breathe in. As you exhale, draw the hands to the lower abdomen, to a Buddha's palm. There you go. Close the palms, press them toward the earth, stand up nice and tall. Can't get much better than that. 6 o'clock on the dot. All right. So in closing, any questions online?
No, it's very good
Yes, sir.
practice.
All right. So 3 main postures, the 3 pressings in the Bagua, they'll represent probably 75% of the Bagua as you go along. Then you'll learn a few other extra hands that'll show up as auxiliary hands, right? But there's a lot of work just to be done in those and keeping your body upright. Any questions out here? No? Okay. All right. All right. Well, it was great to see you all.
Yes.
And I posted a video up today, I believe, on both Patreon and the website. So y'all should have access to it. It was actually the gentle motions, a gentle mindful motion class I taught in Pinehurst a few weeks ago. So that's up. So if y'all would like access to it, okay?